Boxing fans, this is going to be a weekend to remember. There's major fights all weekend long, and I know you are not going to want to miss a single second. And while you're watching, don't forget to get in on all the action with my partners, DraftKings Sportsbook. DraftKings is offering all new customers $200 in bonus bets instantly after betting just $5. So don't wait. Sign up right now. All you got to do is download the DraftKings app. When you sign up, use my promo code Sonnen. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Stay in on the action and use your $200 in same-game parlays for a chance at an even bigger payout. Combine multiple bets together from the same fight. Love the thrill of live betting? DraftKings has got you covered. Bet live on in-progress fights as they happen, making watching the game that much more exciting. If sports betting is not yet available in your state, don't worry. You can still join in on all the fun with DraftKings Pick 6, giving you a shot to win cash prizes. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. New customers use my promo code Sonnen. Bet just $5 and you will get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's promo code Sonnen only at DraftKings Sportsbook. What do you do when you get put into a jam? What do you do from a PR perspective when you get put into a spot that you can't find your way out of? Let me give you maybe the great one that I've ever seen. Ronda Rousey can beat up Floyd Mayweather. What do you do if you're Floyd? What on earth do you do? You start arguing and defending yourself about how you're going to go whip this girl? I mean, do you see the problem? PR. And it's probably the most famous. It's the expression that is used in every college in the lands. But it's do you still beat your wife? Question. So, I think I added the word still. Do you beat your wife? No, it is still. Do you still beat your wife? So you're talking to somebody. You're doing an interview and you slip out there, hey, do you still beat your wife? And they go, no, I've never beat my wife. And then you instantly correct it. You go, oh, no, of course not. Not even what I meant to say. I'm so sorry. God, I'm so sorry I brought that up. You know, you get yourself and you kind of work through it. It doesn't matter. You've now buried that person. That clip will be out there. People will have heard it. You haven't gone far enough to commit defamation because you quickly run it back as though you misspoke, but you already destroyed them. I mean, lawyers will do this in court all the time. And the judge will argue, and they'll tell the jury, strike that from the record, like you're supposed to pretend you didn't hear it. And the lawyer will know full well he can't do that, and it's going to get struck from the record. He just knows there's no punishment, and I just tainted an entire pool. I mean, it's a very dirty thing to do. But I'm tackling, what do you do if you're put in that spot? And the answer is shoot on the son of a bitch. And by the way, that's a quote I got from Paul Heyman. I am a Paul Heyman guy. And I was in a situation. It was Vanderlei Silva in Brazil. And I never even spoke to Paul before, but I find myself, and I am in this ultra confusing position. I've got to track down 3 different people on an international line, get a hold of Paul, say, here's what just happened. How do I handle it? And he said, Chael, when you find yourself in a spot and there's no way out, shoot on the son of a bitch. That's a quote. Now, shoot is an expression. Shoot means you're telling the truth. If you're working, right, pro wrestling term, but if you're working, hey, I'm going back and forth, I'm telling, I took your girlfriend out last night when your guy doesn't even have a girlfriend. You're working, you're putting on a show, you're building heat, and then he's going to build something off of that. Oh, yeah, well, I didn't like her anyway. Whatever it was, but you see where this gets silly. Shoot is where you're telling the truth. It's where you come out and you got to level with the guy. Now, I don't know how we got to this point, but somebody interviewed Eddie Hall. Now, I appreciate Eddie very much because of his willingness. He will put it on the line. Win or lose, he will put it on the line. I like that about him. And Eddie did nothing wrong. But Eddie said that if the money was right, he would fight Francis Ngannou. Now, general theory, if you were to speak to a PR expert, of which, compared to me, there are none. But if you spoke to somebody that made a living in PR, again, would be nowhere as good as me. If you did, You don't respond at all. You don't punch down. Francis is champion of the world. Eddie Hall is not ranked. Don't punch down. Let Eddie punch up and you walk away. Well, not so fast, because Eddie isn't just unranked. He's coming off a win. He's clearly a dangerous man because he's enormous and the strongest man alive. I mean, I'm not suggesting for you in the least that he'd get the jump on a top MMA guy, but what I am suggesting for you is it's not the same as an up-and-coming boxer coming after the top guy, trying to get his name out there. Eddie's name's already out there, and it's out there for something different. And by the way, it's the something different is perceived by more people than not. And I know it's not you guys. More people than not will perceive the world's strongest man to be able to kick the crap out of a guy that's not the world's strongest man. Like that idea that size and strength is what you use in a fight. I'm just sharing with you. So what do you do if you're Francis? Because you cannot let that go. You got to shoot on the son of a bitch. You cannot let this be out there. That a strong man that's now 1-0, he's actually now part of the industry, whether you like it or not, with a big audience, is willing to fight you. Now, Francis is in a good spot. Eddie didn't make any crazy claims. Eddie said what you guys would say. Any one of you, the biggest coward of all of you, would fight Francis if the money was right. Right? I mean, there's a number. So Eddie's being very clear. I'll go take that beating. I'll go take whatever is inside of that cage if the money's right. Well, that's what all of you would think as well. So Eddie's hands are clean here. But Francis cannot let that go. If you get Francis, you get a top guy in the world. And Francis deserves that respect. He was the UFC champion. He never lost the belt. And many thought he should have become the WBO champion, including one of the judges, including Joe Rogan, including Frank. I think Francis won that fight. So he deserves, right? He does deserve, so he's earned it. And he just got pulled in to the ultimate sideshow. I mean, that's one step away from fighting Sakuraba in a back alley outside of a sushi restaurant in Tokyo, which is ultimately where the great legends ended up. Truly, the great Sakuraba ultimately is getting flipped a coin to go do something for some guy's entertainment. It was bad. And Francis doesn't have an opponent coming up. He doesn't have something big coming up. The ideas of Francis boxing, I think, should be pursued. I think Deontay Wilder, by the way, against Francis sells. Now, when you're dealing with Francis, you're going to lose money. But if you got a contract that says you got to deal with Francis, lose as little money and do it as quickly as possible. Get it over with and get some, right? I mean, it's just the way that you got to play the game. So, in light of Francis not having anything to do and not having an opponent, Francis was in headlines opposite Jon Jones 2.5 years ago. He was in headlines opposite Joshua and Fury and Deontay 12 months ago. April of last year, 13 months ago. And now there are no headlines, except for he has had a fight through the media accepted by undefeated world's strongest man, Eddie Hall. Francis cannot let that ride unless he wants to end up outside the sushi restaurant in Japan fighting with Sakuraba. You cannot let this ride. You cannot let a world champion, an established world champion, start to get pulled into such a ridiculous sideshow. And the way that Francis and his team will handle it is to do nothing. Let it go away. And it will. But it's not the right answer. It is an opportunity for headlines. There are things going on with Francis where you would like to do what we call in PR, turn the page. And he's been handed the perfect opportunity. But he doesn't need to dismiss him. He doesn't need to laugh it off, right? Canelo made all these mistakes with Jake Paul. Just trying to ignore him to make him go away. And now Canelo, Jake's the bigger star. Canelo would do anything to have that fight. But I'm only sharing with you, it's not always the right answer. Sometimes you got to shoot on a guy. And Francis is going to need to come out. He's going to need to come out hard. He's going to need to talk about what I'm going to do to you. What I would do to you. why you don't belong, why my name should not come out of your mouth. Just for example, there are times you got to shoot. And if you're getting pulled by a massive influencer in social media who perception, by the way, goes to him, you cannot let that ride.